Hey everybody, welcome to Grounded Roots Healing. I'm Jason and I'm an alchemist. It is a label that I choose to apply to myself because I think it's an all-encompassing label and I don't rigidly stick to it, but this is what for now I am calling myself. Um, so I'm going to title this video something along the lines of how vulnerability leads to increased psychic ability. It's the path to increasing your third eye. It's the path to increasing abilities. And it'll take a minute to explain this, but I've had a couple instances recently where always men, well, shouldn't say always, but recently it's been men who've been asking me, they've been kind of pining that a lot of the abilities that they were shown have now kind of diminished, or they're not seeing things like they'd like to be able to see them. And they're trying things to increase their psychic abilities, like opening your third eye, which is all fine. This is the path forward for the most part. But in my opinion, the biggest bottleneck to holding more of your light, let's say, is the capacity of the vessel. And the biggest bottleneck in increasing the capacity of the vessel is childhood trauma, behavioral patterns, unhealed things in the body-mind complex. So you can look at this whole system, like I do, as a container. This body and mind are a container for the light of the higher self. The bigger the container, the more holes you plug in that container, the more light you'll be able to hold. Now, I've heard it said somewhere that on average we hold 2%, 2 to 2.5% of our higher self. We're a fractal of the divine, the ultimate. Our soul, we hold 2.5%. And that Master Sananda, otherwise known as Jesus or Yeshua, was holding, I believe it was 5. I don't even think it was 5%. And we all know the purported abilities that gentleman had. I believe them to be true for the most part. I'm sure the story's off a little bit, but I'm certain that he had healing hands, and I'm certain he did things that would seem extremely magical to us at this time. So, how do you be more like Jesus? I understand this very well because I had an enlightenment phase that was about 3 days long. It was longer than that, but the part where I was doing all kinds of things that would be considered magical or psychic, extremely psychic things. It was shown to me at the beginning of this whole process after I woke up, like spontaneously, like the next day, completely enlightened. And it was to show me what's possible. Then it was taken away. So the morning that I woke up and it was taken away was devastating. It was devastating. I was in tears. And, I just wanted to stay there in that frame of mind, let's say. I wanted all those abilities. I want them to stay. Everybody does, trust me. Okay, so you get glimpses of these things. Just saw 144 on the screen here. And they start to diminish. It's to show you what's possible. It's not to show you you're not there yet, but you need something to shoot for. So I've said this before, the body mind complex, the avatar, the vessel, the container to hold the light, this body that is Jason, that's all it is. It has an operating system, the monkey mind, I sometimes call it, and that gets damaged through trauma and living on this planet severely. And we start to associate with the body. At some point, we have the awakening, which is the split, where we start to see that we are the higher self and that the body is just that. It's a vehicle with an operating system. It's a robot like this Tesla that can drive itself and do some things, but it's not smart per se like a human would be. It can be quite adept at driving, but that's pretty much it. It's not doing the things that the higher human can do. So it's limited, is what I'm trying to say. Now, the chakra system, of which there are 7, or it's broken down commonly into 7. There's a lot more than 7, but the frequency of those chakras in alignment at full capacity, fully integrated and fully aligned, like I said, if you total them all up, it equals 144,000 hertz. I've said this before. And that's when they're functioning properly. So your energetic system can get messed up, as well as the body, the stored trauma and energy. And so as we go away along this awakening journey and we start to get more separation, where we're starting to actually have some separation between what happens to us and our reaction to it. So the body has those conditioned reactions, and we start to see that we're above this. And then we start to get even more separation. And eventually, you're looking down on this vessel as what it is. You're not part of it. And you start to work on your energetic system. Now, this happens spontaneously, but there are ways to help with this energetic system, like Reiki, for example. Align it, attune it, get it tuned up, functioning properly so it can hold the most amount of light. But the vessel that it's sitting in is also a critical part of this, and we tend to ignore it almost completely. So if you want to hold more of your light, i.e. ascend the frequencies higher, i.e. jump timelines, go up timelines, because that's what frequency is. Increased frequency equates to an increased climbing of the timelines. I argue you need to fix the vessel. You can attune your chakras. You can learn all of these different meditation techniques. You can leave. But what you're trying to do, like go to the astral, I should say, astrally project, this kind of thing. You can go into the dream realm. It's all the same thing. You're leaving the body, and you will be able to do magical things. But the path forward is to live in this vessel, on this plane, to embody as much light as you can. So that means you got to fix the vessel. You gotta make it as functional as possible, so it can hold as much of that light as possible. So this is where we get the sticking point with men. And the vulnerability. This is a huge one for us. We've been conditioned as kids to be completely not vulnerable, the opposite of it. There's no more tears. Little boys don't cry anymore after a certain age. And as a psychic being who's hypersensitive and an empath, suppressing that was extremely damaging for me. It was really hard on this. I no longer do this anymore. If I feel like I need to cry, I cry. Emotions are there to be felt in the moment and not to suppress them. Emotion, energetic motion, motion of energy. Get it out. So if you don't get it out and you're not vulnerable, most of this is conditioning, right? There's no one to blame for this, but it is the simple fact is that energy hasn't been able to move. So, as an example, like myself, I'm using myself always, but I had traumatic things happen in childhood, And then I didn't feel safe to express those emotions outwardly. Therefore, they get bottled up and held inside. And then many men, me included, used alcohol to pour on top of that to keep it in. Well, as soon as I stopped drinking alcohol, stopped doing anything, it had to come out. And this is where you're vulnerable. This isn't you. You are not the body. You are not the things that happen to the body. You are not those thoughts. You're not those memories. You are the space between all of that. You're the witch to which there is no witcher. You're above it all. You're the consciousness. You're the space between the words. So, in order to move that energy out, you have to understand that none of that, it's just energy. If it comes out as tears or shaking body issues, let's say, when I do breath work, a lot of times my body will convulse and shake. And now I would have been conscious of this and I would have been embarrassed in the past. And now I treat it as if I'm moving energy from point A to point B. There's no attachment to the outcomes and what the body has to do in order to get this energy out of you. And as a man, often, because of the suppression of tears, it comes out as tears. So I let the tears go. It's energy. It's got to go. It's serving me no good. I don't care what people think. If you think that makes me a sissy, I don't give it. So be it. I'm moving this energy out, and guess who's going to feel better tomorrow? The person judging me for having tears or me? And I think we know the answer to this. So I've said this before too in another video. It's like kintsugi, which is the Japanese art of reassembling broken cups, porcelain cups. But they use gold, an expensive glue, to put these pieces back together and make the cup able to hold liquid again, but also make it more beautiful. In order to assemble these pieces back together of this broken vessel that we are, that's all it is. There's no judgment on this. In order to do that, to glue this back with gold, you have to do a few things. And it's in facing all of this old trauma and not taking it on as anything that you've done, or how do I say this? Like, there's just no judgment. You have to be in a non-judgmental space over this. And treat it for what it is moving of energy, one place to the other. You have to do things like breath work. You have to do things like deep meditations. I did a men's yoga retreat where there was men's circles where we did a lot of talking. We were vulnerable and in front of other men. This is important. Getting past the point of caring what anyone thinks and just getting to the point where you want to move that energy out because you know you'll feel better. Do it for yourself, and to hell with it what anyone else thinks. If I could just get through to as many men as possible, I know I could make a huge effect here. But boy, this one is conditioned into us, isn't it? Little boys don't cry. Men certainly don't. You know, it's a shame, but it isn't insurmountable. As you start to, like I said, you start to get separation from the you that is the consciousness and this mind-body complex that has all of these issues, you'll start to heal all of that emotional issue. The emotional issues has a physical consequence in the body as well. So as you let this energy out, your physical body will start to heal itself on top of all of this, which makes you feel even better and makes you more capable of doing more healing work, and the snowball effect starts. You start wanting to take better care of yourself just spontaneously as you release a lot of this stuff. You know, eat too much, or I hadn't historically because I was eating for emotions. Well, if you release these emotions, you don't need to do that anymore. Then you can rewire that circuit that makes you want to eat that extra piece of food. And it just keeps going. The whole thing, it's a holistic approach. But what you need to do is fix this vessel. You hold more of your light. You be vulnerable. Being vulnerable. This is important. Learning how to cry. If I could just teach men one thing, this is the most important thing. Let it out. Stop holding that shit in. And you will feel better. But I will warn you, when you pull the cork off of this, there's a lot of stuff that you haven't cried for in your life, and it can get a bit overwhelming. So, lean on me. I'm here for this. I have a coaching service I've started on Patreon where I'm helping guys through this stuff, normally guys. And I mean, I will work with anyone who wants to work with me, I'm looking at expanding on this with a friend. So we're in the process of hashing that out to see what it will look like. And I look forward to doing that. So go over to my Patreon, sign up to one of the tiers, and you can have access to me, and I can help you learn how to cry if you'd like to do that, or anything else that you want to do. I'm here for you, and I have a soft spot for men in particular, but like I said, I will work with anyone. So I think we'll leave it there. The key to all of this, expand your abilities by being a vulnerable human being. It's the next step for a lot of men. So like I always say, I hope this video finds you well. I love you all, and we'll see you soon.